Hey, what's going on, Scatterbrains? Thank you for coming back to another episode of Scatterbrains. My name is Travis, and I wanted to do a really quick video about hiring illustrators for your self-published books. And the reason why I wanted to do this video is you've already known I've already done 2 videos about self-publishing and what it takes to self-publish a book. But as an illustrator, I get questions that I guess some people really haven't thought through as far as what it's like hiring an illustrator and actually working with an illustrator. So the main question I always get is, how can I go about finding an illustrator? And just to be perfectly honest with you, that's not an answer that I really have. The best place to go to find that answer is Google, because there is so many places that you can find an illustrator at. And the one that I always direct everybody to is Fiverr, whatever it is, because I don't know of anywhere else to look, because I've never had to look for an illustrator myself. So that's why I don't know the best place to look for an illustrator. Now, in talking to a couple of people who have gotten an illustrator through them, people have had different experiences. And this is just all based on information that I've been told. I don't know any of this to be true or anything. But it seems like a lot of the freelancers who do their work through that website, many of them come from overseas. And so with that, I don't want to sound ignorant or sound mean. Mean is not the word I'm looking for, but I don't want to come off like, yeah. Many of them, because they're from overseas, will take a lower paying job as far as illustrating is concerned than someone who lives within the States, who is an established illustrator or an established artist. And what I mean by that is, I've gotten several people at this point to reach out to me about possibly hiring me as their illustrator. And when we begin to talk about budget, people start throwing around $200, $400 for me to illustrate a whole book. And I think part of that is people are ignorant to what it actually takes to create a book, but also at the same time, I think there are freelancers on websites like that who will take a job at that price point because, that works for them and their lifestyle, which is totally fine. But when you're looking to hire an illustrator, one thing you need to keep in mind is you are paying not only for the illustrator's time, but you're not only paying for the illustrator's talents, but you're also paying for the illustrator's time. Drawing a picture, illustrating a book is not something that is a quick thing. If you want quality, if you want something that looks good, that's not going to be something that's going to be done in a day. And just to give you a hypothetical example, someone reached out to me about illustrating a book. The book had 10 pages of illustration, and their offer to me to illustrate their book was $200. So that means this person was going to pay me $20, if I got my math right, yes, was going to pay me $20 to illustrate illustrate one page. So 10 pages at $20 a piece, $200. That's what it equaled out to. Because I think some people, when they think about their budgets for illustrators, they just think of I don't want to pay over this amount of money for an illustrator. So then you got to take that amount and you got to divide it amongst everything. You got to divide it by the cost for the cover to be illustrated and the cost for the illustrations to be done. And most professional artists, and this is just making an assumption, I might be wrong, but I think most professional artists are not going to willingly accept $20 to illustrate a full page of illustration. Now, if you find an illustrator who's up and coming, that might work for them in their household and their bills. But for me and artists like myself, that does not work for us. I can't give up, because we'll take it even further. We'll say if you're paying me $20 to illustrate one page, how long is it going to take me to illustrate that one page? It's going to take longer, most likely, than an hour. So let's say it takes 4 hours to illustrate that one page. That's paying me $5 an hour. My time is worth more than $5 an hour. If minimum wage is maybe $5 an hour. So I think at the very least, when you start talking to illustrators, you got to think about What is my story about? How long might it take somebody to actually draw this? And think about it in the scope of hours. How many hours am I going to be paying this person to work on my book? And use that to figure out what your budget is going to be. But don't just pull numbers out of the air and say, oh, I'm going to pay you $500 to illustrate a book. For me, that's still too low. And I tell everybody, you know, if you want to know my prices, you can email me and I will send you my price sheet. And my price sheet was priced by me. That is my value for my time. For me to have to take away time from my family, from my wife, from my children, and from the personal projects that I want to work on, this is how much I have to be compensated to make that happen. And there are people who accept that level of that my level of value. There are people who accept that, who have accepted that. And it frustrates me sometimes as an artist, because just speaking about artists in general, not just illustrators, some people just, they're not aware of what it takes to be an artist and to create anything. The amount of time it takes to create something, the materials it takes, like all of those things have value. Time literally is money. Like, I don't have a painting. Okay, there's a painting right here on this wall. Okay, that's the painting. That painting didn't take me a couple hours. I did that painting over a few days. And people just, they don't make the connection of time and money. Like, I do art because I love it, because I like to do it, but I also do it because it's money in my pocket. Like, I'm just not out here just drawing pictures for people for free. Nothing in life is free. And so I think just as you're looking for an illustrator, it's important to be mindful that you're asking someone to give up their time to create, but not to create. You're asking someone to give up their time to make your dream come true, to make your vision come to life and come to fruition. That is what you're asking the illustrator to do. So you need to be mindful in your offer that this is what I'm asking you to give up to help me. Just keep that in mind. Like I said, Fiverr, that's a place to look. There are plenty of freelancers on there, and there may be things that you like. But I know I've seen some illustrations from Fiverr, and based on my artistic standards, they look bad. But that's just me. There are people who have sent me, and I've seen, you know, just around people's illustrations, and I'm like, who illustrated this book? And I am nowhere close to what we call a wonderful or a great illustrator or an amazing illustrator. I'm still learning. What it takes to really illustrate a book. It's a learning process. But I have seen some stuff and I'm like, you paid somebody to do this? But that's just my 2 cents. But just keep that in mind as you're looking for an illustrator, that time is money. Time is money. Take your budget, divide it out by the number of pages that you need this person to work on it and how long you think it might take them to do it. Because you just don't want to be what can be perceived as disrespectful in your offer. And I've gotten many offers that I have perceived as disrespectful. But I have to also keep in mind that people don't know what it takes to be an artist, and try not to be, you know, offended by someone offering me so little money. Like, somebody sent me a DM saying, they said verbatim, I might even be able to pay you to be my illustrator. Might. You might be able to pay me. You might not get an illustration from me or a reply. Like, I will be paid. So just keep all of those things in mind as you're looking for an illustrator, as you're engaging with different illustrators. And keep in mind that every illustrator has their prices set at different places. You can choose to say, okay, that's out of my budget, no thank you, and move on and find someone else. You know, you don't have to be offended that someone sends you their price sheet and it's higher than what you want. You know, it's okay. There's plenty of illustrators out here. And it was something else I was about to say about price sheets. I don't remember. My train of thought left me. But just keep all those things in mind as you're looking for an illustrator. You know, as I've said in videos, if you're interested in me being an illustrator, I can send you my price sheet. It's priced by page because that's how you look at a book. Books have pages, so this is my cost per page. But if you have any other questions, you already know you can email me, scatterbrilliancy@yahoo.com, or you can leave your questions down in the comments and I can get to them later. Thanks so much for watching this video. I hope I can remember in these next few seconds what I was about to say. Oh, well, if it comes to me, I'll add it in right here. So if you didn't see anything, I didn't remember. But thank you so much for watching. I'll be talking to y'all later. Peace.